Mark Zuckerberg just told his teams something tech executives normally keep private. AI agents aren't going to show up on your phone or your computer anywhere near as soon as anyone predicted. This matters because Meta bet billions on AI agents being the next huge platform change. When the founder of one of the world's largest companies stands up and says the timelines are wrong, it tells you something profound about just how hard this problem actually is. So what exactly did Zuckerberg say? He told staff that progress on AI agents has been slower than expected, not by a little bit, by enough that he's resetting expectations inside the company. Think of it like this: every major tech platform has a moment where everyone agrees the next big thing is obvious. In the 90s, it was the web. In the 2010s, it was mobile and AI. Right now, agents are supposed to be that next change. AI systems that don't just chat with you, but actually do things for you. Navigate the web, book flights, manage your inbox. But here's the problem. Building agents that actually work reliably is exponentially harder than building chatbots. The irony is brutal. We've just spent 3 years watching AI go from science fiction to your pocket. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they all feel impossibly smart. To understand why this matters, you need to know how much skin Meta has in this game. Zuckerberg's vision for the next decade basically hinges on this idea that AI agents become as fundamental to daily life as smartphones are now. He's not being quiet about it either. Meta's been publicly committing billions to building agent infrastructure. Why agents? Because they're the logical next step. Today's AI assistants can write essays and answer questions, but they can't book your flights or manage your email or negotiate with your bank on your behalf. An agent would do all that. It would understand what you want and then autonomously go out into the digital world and make it happen. That's the dream. That's what OpenAI's thinking about, what Google's thinking about, what Anthropic's thinking about. Everyone assumes this is the obvious next frontier. The economic opportunity is staggering if agents work. Whoever builds them first controls a $1 trillion interface to the internet. Every email, every booking, every purchase, every decision gets mediated through an AI agent. From Meta's perspective, this is an existential moment. They're not dominant in AI research like OpenAI or Google DeepMind, but if they can be the first to ship reliable agents at scale, they get back in the game. That's why Zuckerberg's admission is so significant. He's basically saying, we are further from that goal than we thought. And if Meta's admitting it, the rest of the industry has been delusional. Here's what makes agents so incredibly hard. A chatbot like ChatGPT has one job: read what you wrote, predict the next token, repeat until done. Agents are different. They have to understand your intent, plan steps to achieve it, use tools like web browsers, know when to ask for help, and critically never break things. Think about it this way. If ChatGPT makes up a fact, you move on. If an agent hallucinates a banking instruction while transferring money, you lose your money. The stakes are completely different. That's why even the best AI labs have spent years on agents, and the systems are still fragile. There's a technical wall here that's hidden. Today's language models excel at pattern matching, but struggle at planning over long sequences. An agent might need 10 steps to accomplish something. At each step, error compounds. Miss one step and the whole chain fails. Humans find this trivial because we have working memory and common sense. Our brains handle sequential reasoning naturally. AI systems have to simulate it, and they're not great at it yet. You also can't just throw more compute at it. Agents don't get reliably smarter just by scaling up. They need fundamental breakthroughs in how they plan, reason, and decide when they are in over their head. Zuckerberg's basically admitting they've hit the wall of what current technology can do. So what's actually broken? Let's look at concrete examples. OpenAI's been working on agents for years. When you ask their systems to do multi-step tasks like researching a topic, writing it up, and posting online, they fail constantly. They research the wrong thing. They format posts wrong. They click the wrong button. These aren't glitches, they're architectural problems. Google's had similar experiences, even with all their AI expertise and compute. Getting agents to reliably navigate the web and take action is brutal. The agent will click a login button perfectly, but then struggle with the password field because the design is slightly different than expected. It'll book a flight and then immediately cancel it because it misunderstood the request. Meta's own experiments have probably hit the same walls. You can build an agent that handles 70% of tasks perfectly. But that remaining 30% is where things get messy: edge cases, unexpected UI variations, ambiguous instructions needing human judgment. Here's the painful part: those failures aren't close to being solved. It's not a problem where more data gets you from 70 to 95%. It's fundamental. These systems are pattern matchers, not true planners. They struggle with reasoning over long sequences because their architecture wasn't built for it. A simple analogy: ask a human to follow a recipe they've never seen, and they'll improvise and adapt. So Meta's not alone in this. OpenAI has been incredibly aggressive about agents, demoing systems doing complex tasks and talking like they're weeks away from shipping. But demoing to journalists and shipping to billions of people safely are completely different problems. OpenAI's probably more honest privately than publicly about how far they still have to go. Google's built enormous models with massive infrastructure advantage, but their agent demos show they're hitting similar walls. Their Project Astra is supposed to be an agent, but it's still quite limited. Anthropin's been more cautious. They've talked about capable agents but aren't claiming they're close. That restraint might be wisdom. Claude's excellent, but going from great chatbot to reliable agent is a different challenge entirely. The pattern across all of AI is clear. Publicly, everyone claims agents are coming soon. Privately, they're learning the same harsh lesson. The gap between impressive demo and reliable product is enormous. Zuckerberg's just being more public about it than others. He's been honest after his teams repeatedly missed internal targets. Here's what this tells you about the industry. We've entered a phase where the easy progress is done. We went from no AI to ChatGPT in about a decade. That was the obvious frontier. Now we are trying to build systems that interact with real-world complexity, and suddenly the curve gets much steeper. You need not just better algorithms, but probably entirely new approaches to reasoning and planning. Zuckerberg's basically saying they don't have those yet. And if Meta doesn't, nobody does. What does this mean for AI's future? It reshapes the competitive landscape. Every tech company assumed agents were the obvious next step, and whoever shipped first wins everything. Turns out that slope is a cliff, not a hill. You can't just throw money at it. You need fundamental breakthroughs in research. That's good news for deep research teams like Google DeepMind and Anthropic. It's tougher for Meta. Second, AI investment gets more selective. For years, investors funded anything claiming to build AI. If agents are harder than expected, returns look less certain. Only companies with working products get the funding. Dream projects struggle. Third, this buys real time for regulation and safety work. If agents are years away, there's actually time to think about what happens when AI autonomously takes actions on your behalf. That conversation barely exists right now. Fourth, the AI boom might have a longer runway. If everyone's still sprinting toward agents, that's years of sustained investment and development. The story continues, just slower than expected. But here's the darker implication. If the big tech companies can't figure out agents, does anyone? Are we hitting a fundamental ceiling with current approaches? Maybe the next breakthrough requires entirely new AI architecture, not just better training. That's genuinely uncertain right now. And uncertainty is what kills bull markets. Here's how to think about AI timelines realistically. The pattern: something seems impossible until suddenly it works. Translation was unsolvable, then neural machine translation worked. Image generation was impossible, then diffusion models existed. But there's a graveyard of things that seemed close but never shipped. Self-driving cars have been 5 years away for 15 years. Robotics keeps being just around the corner. These hit unexpected walls. Agents are probably in that second category. They're not like translation where more data solves it. They need a different kind of reasoning that current AI systems lack. So when someone promises agents in 2 years, remember, they said the same thing 2 years ago. The smarter move is watching for actual working systems, not demos. OpenAI shipping an agent product people use reliably, that's the signal, not press releases, not research papers. Actual software regular people use that doesn't fail. We're nowhere near that yet. Most AI hype follows a pattern: overpromise, miss deadlines, quietly extend them, repeat. Companies aren't being dishonest, they genuinely believed their own timelines. But complex projects always take longer than planned. Zuckerberg's honesty here is actually refreshing. When a CEO admits progress is slower than hoped, that's more trustworthy than claims everything's on track. Use that as your filter for AI news. So here's what you need to remember. Mark Zuckerberg told his staff that AI agents aren't arriving on the timeline anyone expected. That's huge because Zuckerberg doesn't usually admit strategic problems publicly. He's resetting expectations because internal targets keep missing. This doesn't mean agents aren't coming. It means they're delayed and harder than hype suggested. That's actually healthy. Companies building this are learning to be more realistic. For you, this matters in two ways. If you work in tech, this signals AI is shifting from gold rush to engineering phase. You need real skills and breakthroughs, not just marketing buzz. If you follow AI as a user, remember, when someone promises revolutionary AI products in 2 years, wait for working software before believing it. Here's what to watch next. Does this admission trigger broader AI reckoning, or does everyone quietly push timelines back and keep funding anyway? That's the bigger story unfolding. The implications ripple through everything. Follow this channel for daily breakdowns of what's really happening in AI. The hype is falling away, and the actual engineering story is just beginning. That's when things get genuinely interesting.